You can just get focused.
Do you have a mic with you, Debs?
No.
Okay.
I think you guys will hit.
Cool.
I know Pen when he wants me to hit. I know his reactions immediately. He wants to hit just the two of you.
Pen also tsamaya ka diary le Pen.
That's actually not true, but I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
We'll talk about it.
All right.
Caesar, you good?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
I'm rolling on my side as well.
Debs, are you good?
All three cams and yes, sir.
Thank you. Ursula, Mariani, thank you for coming back. We did a Q&A a while back, which I think was absolutely phenomenal. And thank you for hosting that. I think as we record this, it's at just over 90,000 views. Thank you. I've got questions for you today, not from the audience, but from me. Okay. Don't bite your tongue and cringe. But I think you also wanted to go through some of the other questions that maybe we'd left out on behalf of the audience for me. Maybe we can start with me. I'd like us to wrap that up as quickly as possible. And then I'd like to ask you some questions, please.
Let it be known that I didn't know about these questions. Why were
you didn't know about these questions?
No, I didn't.
No problem. If that's the story you want to stick to, by all means, you stick to that story.
Debsa, you were here before we started.
Please don't bring Debsa in.
The truth.
Okay. Debsa's focused on the camera.
Are we starting
focused on the camera and sound?
My questions to you or your questions to me?
Please start with yours to me. I'm gonna answer very quickly.
Yeah, this is very quickly. So.
Otherwise, sorry. How have you been?
I'm okay. Yeah, you didn't do a good introduction. I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm just a bit fluish. How are you doing?
I'm good. I know you didn't want us to bring this chat here, but I'm going to bring it nonetheless because I think it's important. Do you have anything to say regarding the bulk of the comments that comment about your beauty, specifically from men? Because there were a lot of that, and there are normally a lot of that, not just with me, but even on TCC, where it's just like, oh my gosh, this chick is so pretty. She's so beautiful. I want to marry her. Does it make you feel any type of way? Or is it like, oh, thanks, guys. That's all.
I outside, I likened it to catcalling, where, yeah, sometimes it feels very like, okay, I'm talking about family dynamics. What about that? But I don't take offense. I think the internet is a harsh place, so it could be worse. Yeah, maybe surprising. We chat about this a lot with TCC, that I wasn't that in high school or in varsity or in primary. I wasn't the pretty girl. So to see 90% of the comments, it's interesting to
90%?
me. Yeah. Well, in my experience on my page, maybe not. The TCC community is changing, as in they're like engaging with us more. But usually people that are new to the community will always, 90% of the new people will always comment on that. One, for me, it points towards we just live in like this aesthetically obsessed world. Like people just have to look at looks. But yeah, maybe the part that I say is surprising is that I was never like that. I think in high school I was known for talking a lot. And so that's why it's just like, huh?
Well, you kind of still are.
Yeah, that's my rep. That's always what I've known myself to have a rep for. So it was a bit like, huh? But
is there a teachable moment here?
3 years. Teachable moment for men. I mean, there is like an introspection thing. I am curious sometimes as to like why.
Why what?
As in, surely what I'm saying is also interesting.
So maybe the teachable moment is, guys, if you can, please, while complimenting me, please also just add whatever you're taking from the conversation. I would appreciate it. Yeah. I appreciate that you're complimenting me, but it would make me so much happier if absolutely. You also said something about the conversation.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I don't want to teach grown men lessons before.
No, we want to teach grown men lessons. We want to make the world a better, safer, nicer space for women. And we have an opportunity.
I guess so. Okay, if I'm going to own this moment right now, it's to say like it feels very like a disregarding of what you're saying. Yeah, Yeah, it's an
Just
awkward
smile,
thing you
man.
didn't prepare.
You
Yeah.
don't have to talk. Just smile.
Yeah, pretty face.
Just be pretty.
Look at you, cute girl. That's what it feels like. Especially when some of the issues we're talking about for me are like really like, heavy, and these are things that we should be engaging with. Then it does feel very like I'm being shushed with nicely though. Yeah, but like I said, I can appreciate the fact that the internet is a harsh place and it could be worse.
Yeah.
In the sense, everybody could be saying she's so ugly or she's so whatever.
Yeah.
So there is that, but there is a part of me that's like, huh? Why would you do that? Yeah.
We never talk about pretty privilege, and I've spoken to a lot of really pretty women who, it's first world problems, of course, because you'd rather be pretty than ugly, and the world does treat you better. But the ones who don't want to be known for their prettiness or only, they find themselves having to work twice as hard, be twice as loud, because for some reason the not so pretty girl looks like she knows her stuff better. So I need to go out of my way to literally sweat and toil. Why? Why can't my work just be good enough? So now because I look a certain way, I almost get discriminated when it comes to the serious stuff. A lot of them have complained about that. I just wish men could take me seriously.
I feel like you experienced the male version of pretty privilege.
I don't know what you're talking about. You trying to say something? Are you trying to say something?
Don't be silly.
Oh,
Answer
sorry.
the question.
What's the question?
The question is, do you experience people just like, because unalubundia?
Bundia? I thought you were saying I'm good looking. Bundia, I'm getting happy. I'm lucky. I don't know if I'd call it luck.
Mm-hmm.
I say a lot of polarizing and controversial things, which immediately force people to move away from any aesthetics. Whereas a lot of your content is very gentle, very considerate.
Do you think that you intentionally, that you started safeguarding yourself from your opinions not being heard? Do you understand?
No.
Do you think you started becoming polarizing
No.
because you felt like
No.
you weren't being heard?
No, I'm a man. So as a man, we see flames in life, regardless. I've been rejected by women and the like. So I don't have female pretty privilege. Women don't mac on me, as an example. My views and my thoughts have always been mine. It's not overcompensating. I was friends with the guy at Varsity. I don't know if he watches this. One of the most beautiful men I've ever seen. And I'm intentionally using the word beautiful. He's stunning. His eyes, his lips. Everyone who'd see him would be like, your friend is pretty. Girls, your friend is pretty. I'm like, that's the right adjective. He's a pretty guy. And he's been like that his whole life. And I think what happened to him, and I apologize if I'm out of line, is he overcompensated by always getting in fights, always being aggro. I'm not just a pretty face. And in my head, I'm like, I don't think you need to do that, because you become a prisoner of now trying to prove to people. So you're a pretty girl, but you want to now mop on the floor and cook. And you're like, Siswam, it's okay. We know you have worth outside of your looks, but you don't have to overcompensate. I'm not overcompensating. But I know a lot of people find themselves being forced to, because no one is taking them seriously. You're sitting in parliament, you're sitting on a board of directors in a company, you're about to give a speech, and you find yourself having to, I don't know, man, cover your face, say something incredibly controversial, make a reference. When you look at my face, see whatever. Just so that people can try and it's sad that people have to do that. So I was just asking you, or rather adding to what you were saying about, and saying that, there's a lot of good-looking women who have said, I wish men would look up. I'm here. And they would listen and engage, and not just, yo, you're so pretty.
But I must say that it's only something I've experienced on the internet. Right?
I've seen you in real life. You mean?
No.
Or in real life, you're not?
No, but people don't do that. I've never, like I'm saying, I wasn't that girl in school. Maybe it's because I was chubby, a lot of acne, glasses, braces, I had it all. But I don't remember a day where, like, Ursula the pretty girl, it's never, like, it's literally only on the internet. So that's the part of me that I think I haven't had to come up with like very defense mechanisms, because sometimes it feels like the internet isn't a real place. But that's not what I experience. I feel like I don't generally experience.
They don't say it.
Maybe.
There might be certain opportunities you're missing out on because the guy wasn't listening and you just wouldn't know.
Maybe.
And what helps with the internet, as unhealthy as it can be, is people get to state their true opinions and feelings. And it helps some of us collect data because you're like, maybe I didn't get that gig because that guy was like this, or that lady was like, this lady is too pretty to work in my family business with my husband. Never. So you didn't get the job because she was scared of her husband having eyes for you. And that's discrimination.
Okay. Like I'm saying.
Yeah. You've just never had to experience people telling you that. Okay.
Yeah, and I don't think that's something people would say anyway. So to my knowledge, I haven't experienced that kind of discrimination. It's just on the internet where I've felt like, huh? But like you're saying, the internet does open you up to how people see you outside of pretty. Just people's opinions. And then you're like, oh, that's how people see me. It's it's a different, people are more honest, or they've got capacity now to share their true feelings. I always say the internet has its own liquid courage, internet courage.
It's a fact.
Yeah, where people would say things they'd never say to you in person.
There's a study that was done that says people are more honest to a computer than to other people. There'd be these weird surveys. I don't know if you ever had them in varsity. These kids would send these things on masturbation and have you had sex here? And you answer them and then they go back to your friend. And it was like, oh, shit. And you realize that people are willing to share stuff like that with a computer, but they wouldn't tell you.
Sure.
Anyways, I know you've got questions for me, but I'd like to start with mine. I know I said, please start with mine. Please start asking me 3 quick questions. Oprah Winfrey or Jay Shetty, and why?
I grew up listening to Oprah. This is tricky. But I really admire Jay Shetty. That's a tough one. I admire Jay Shetty's softness and delivery. I admire how, for me, Jay Shetty advocates for, to the best of his ability, everything that is good. Not that Oprah doesn't. I'm just mentioning the things that I admire about Jay Shetty. But then again, for me, Oprah broke into an industry, broke the ceiling of an industry that didn't have much capacity for Black females that look like her, chunky, not. So Oprah is like Mandela to me. So this is a tricky one, Oprah.
You got Oprah.
I know. I started there for a second, but Oprah.
Must I give you a second chance?
No, Oprah.
Because it's meant to be straightforward, right? Oprah's been in the game forever. She's an icon. She's a billionaire. She's a Black woman. Jay Shetty's a man. He's Asian. It's meant to be like, he's new. You're like, oh, come on.
No. But Jay Shetty's brilliant. And I think in a world of hardness and like a rough masculinity, I don't know what the word is, he comes to bring in a soft masculinity. You don't doubt his masculinity, but it's soft. And he's almost like, I don't know.
Would you prefer for the Conversation Capital to be like Jay Shetty's show or like the Oprah Winfrey show?
Ooh. No comparison. I want the Conversation Capital to be like the Conversation Capital.
Yeah, that's cute. That's diplomatic. That's Siyabonga, Miss South Africa. But on a real. If you had to choose between the two, they are different, yes.
Yeah. Honestly.
Yes.
I want the Conversation Capital to be like the Conversation Capital.
Okay, next question. It's okay. Top 3 guests that you've had at the Conversation Capital and why?
Can I talk about people's performance versus like viewing performance that shocked me?
Answer how you wish.
Versus what I really enjoyed. So our best performing episode, Vanessa Bukasa, she comes in to speak of public speaking, and in between she talks about how she was like a chartered accountant, very meek and quiet, until she realized she's like, we say this cute saying where people speaking about you in rooms you haven't walked in. She's like, when do you start speaking for yourself in certain rooms? And she just talks about the courage to speak up in meetings, and that episode, and I think it really took us, I mean, YouTube is international, but it did take us to a different location. Demographic.
And geography.
Yes. And I didn't expect it. I remember after we recorded the episode, I was like, meh, Anyway, move on. And I didn't expect the numbers that it did. And like I said, again, it reminds me that the internet sort of reminds you of your world can be very limited and your perspective of what will do well can be very limited. I won't say the ones that I expected to boom, obviously, but there are some big hitters that we've had.
Why wouldn't you say them?
No, just no. And so there are people that, that you expected, and then they do. And it just reminds me that, what people want and what people need to hear isn't the same as what you think all is. So that was, that's always like a lesson that I go back to. And that's why at TCC we'll have anybody with a good story and a good message to share.
Even the theme of it, like tips on public speaking.
Yes.
No one's going to watch this.
Yes. And then it just go. Yeah, it was, and people saying that, oh, I watched this show to better my English since the public speaking episode. You guys, your conversational English is so good. And I'm just like, oh, okay.
Shout out to Vanessa, man.
Yeah.
Have you had her back?
We haven't had her back, but I remember, I think her book sold out. She had to reprint twice. So the episode also did really well for her as well. Yeah, we'll definitely get her back at some point.
Pay you guys some royalties. This is from me. Just a little thank you.
Please, Vanessa.
But please try and bring her back. No, this is not from you. This is from me. Just a little thank you, Nyana.
So yeah, that was a lesson for me. And then a one that just generally did very well for everyone. We had Mamkhopedi Tilokwe, and she came and spoke on grief, and in a very real way, unfiltered. She spoke about, just there's a clip that went around, in the audio sort of trends, and people share it. It says, don't build an altar for your pain. So basically, she's like, allow yourself to really heal. Because sometimes in the space of like, I want people to see that I love this person and I'm hurting, you can sometimes wallow and stay in there. And she did a really good job of sharing that. And another thing to show that it can be the same lesson from different people. About a year and a half before that, we had an episode on grief. And the lady was saying a similar thing, but she just didn't say it the same way. And I think people actually didn't appreciate the way the first lady said it. It almost came across as like, get over, or So it just reminded me that, it can be the same lesson, but the packaging. So for me, it's about the lessons. That's what I've enjoyed with some of the episodes, the lessons that I learn, that you can be saying something, this exact same thing, but it's the way you say it, the way you deliver it, that can make the world of a difference. So that's an episode I really enjoyed. And then there's a particular guest, I've been trying to get him here with you, Tammy Netta.
You've been trying to what? Are you his agent?
I'm really not his
Tammy
agent.
must let me know so that, money can be shared back door. It's like, say, tell Ursula this much must be paid into Kleplela and Tonham.
I keep saying Tammy has a way of speaking about anything in a way that like is so well thought out.
I don't know if you know, Tammy wants us to sit and talk about rugby for 3 hours.
Oh,
That's actually what he wants us to talk about, me and him.
But you know what? I trust that Tammy could do it. Like there is no topic that over lunch I've had with Tammy that hasn't been like, how does this guy think? How does he think like that? He's so brilliant. So I really enjoy. I think
you enjoyed him as a guest.
Yeah, and I think we've had him 3 times. You reckon he's your favorite
guest?
Yeah.
Okay.
I could have Tammy back anytime.
Okay.
And if he's like, I want to talk about paint drying, I'll be like, bet.
Come on.
Let's go. I know he's got some lesson about the paint and the molecules and the atoms. And yeah, he's so brilliant. Oh, I love having a chat with Tammy.
Does he translate into views?
Not necessarily. I mean, it depends. Yeah, it depends.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. 3 episodes. So I can think of one that did quite well. The others were
But
okay.
You don't think your audience receives him the way you receive him?
No, yeah. Okay. He's definitely my favorite, my personal favorite, more than the audience's. But I think, some people would be like Tammy, but I know that he's my personal favorite of the people we've had on the show, yeah.
Top 3 wish guests for TCC. This is us now speaking to the universe / the lens so that people can like...
I don't know whether I'm
clips.
saying this now because maybe it could sound very like... I mean, you're supposed to go international, right, with a question like this. But... Maybe not even TCC, but I would love to sit down and have lunch with Ntate Thuso.
Who's Ntate Thuso?
Lesedi FM. I don't know what.
I wouldn't listen to Lesedi. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just a dumb Zulu guy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But he is. Oh man, like he's got a Sunday show on Lesedi FM, and I remember I had a job that I hated, and I used to go there on weekends, and I remember on a Sunday morning on my way to the job, I'd listen to him and then arrive at work like, okay. And so I've always said, if I could sit down and have lunch with this person, I wonder like what insights I could draw. I find him extremely funny, but wise at the same time. And I think a master of his craft. I always say in broadcasting, for me, in SA, he's number one, which is weird, right? Or not weird, like he's an old man and,
I hear you.
But for me, that is my number one.
Have you tried reaching out to him?
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't even know whether it's like a TCC thing or I just want to sit and have lunch with him.
You can do both.
Yeah.
But please start.
Another person I can think of like that
happens, before you tell me the next person, please try and interview him first. Don't do lunch first if you get the option.
I think a lot of the conversations at TCC are built on people I just want to chat to.
Sure. But I'm just saying, if you ever get him, please ask him to do the interview first and the lunch second.
Yeah.
Don't do the lunch first.
Yes. Because
all the dope stuff will be there. By the time you sit down, it will be flattish.
It always happens like that. Yeah. That's always how it goes. But you do want to have like a chemistry check. Don't you find that it's tricky?
No, don't. Especially with someone like this, because it could flop majorly. So you'd rather gamble on camera. I hear you. Another person that I always say I'd just love to meet and have lunch with is Bishop Maponga. I know you've had him quite a few times. Oh, Joshua.
Yeah. So if I'm to go international.
No, why Maponga?
I think he's challenged a lot of my beliefs. I went to a Seventh-day Adventist high school, so I knew about him very, very early on. And when he started, really moving away from the church, being in that space, it was like, oh my goodness, we need to pray for, one of our, and then like.
He got a lot of people out of church, eh?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's ever been measured. Because when I was introduced to him, it was from members of the SDA, I think in Santon, who were like, please come listen to this guy.
Yeah.
You will like him.
Yeah.
I listened and then I watched his journey. And then I realized there are so many people. People normally bring you to church. Yeah. He takes people out and you're like, hey, Baba.
Yeah.
What work is this now?
I mean, maybe there are a lot of people that are like, you shouldn't meet with him. But he's challenged a lot and changed, shaped a lot of how I think. Whether it would be on TCC or just a lunch, I'm not too sure. But I'd love to meet him. On
TCC. But Maponga is a beast. Yeah. Before you go to your third, one of the things, there's a couple, but one of the things that came out, one of the clips that trended from our last sit down was you asking me if I was to be religious, which group would I go with? Yeah. And I said
every single
Islam.
Muslim person that knows me personally said me that.
Every single Muslim person that I know and Muslims I don't know. Yeah. And I bumped into a Muslim gentleman and he told me that an Islamic scholar that I incredibly respect, Mufti Menk, had seen the clip and they were speaking about it. I was like, OMG. I got so many DMs from various Muslim organizations around the country and from outside the country. I don't want to reference that. I'm saying that's one of the things that came out. But we will speak about religion and Christianity. And there were a couple of comments on it. And I'm only saying this to reference Maponga. I don't know if there's going to be a discussion. If it is, it's okay. Whatever you feel. I think a lot of Christians have misunderstood what Jesus Christ was supposed to be or who he was. And it makes me sad because I used to be Christian. I'm not anymore. But I'm fully aware of the beauty of Christianity and what it's supposed to be and what it's done in people's lives. Joshua Maponga is a rebel. And he got into the church and he was a church leader for decades. And he got frustrated by many things. Valid or invalid, that's up to you to decide. Jesus Christ was a rebel, and he would challenge the religious authorities of the day. And he would be seen with certain people that people of the church would deem, why are you hanging out with these people? Why are you saying these things? But he was serving humanity, which I think, regardless of whatever religion you ascribe to, if you believe in the concept of God, a higher power, the idea is to try and make humanity a better place for everyone and to spread peace and love and servitude of your fellow man. And I do believe that Maponga and people like Jesus Christ were about that. And too many people get sucked into the dogma and the principles and the customs and they lose the essence. Examples like Solomon. We'll be like, oh, Solomon had many chicks. And you're like, do you even know the story and what was going on. There are many other, Noah. There are principles there. David and Goliath. There are certain conversations we're not having because we repeat the same story over and over. And you're like, but what was the principle? No, the principle is you must like, hey, I don't know if it's only that. I think there's something else here because you're meant to take every story, parable, proverb reference and extract the principle for your life. Jesus Christ was not saying, come worship me and bow down to me. I am everything.
No, but he says, I am the way, the truth, and the life.
100%. But it's not bow down to me. It's, guys, we're not living right. God is not in the temples. And God is not, but he said, and I'm a living example of godliness. This is what I'm saying, like it. Christians find themselves at crossroads on a regular basis. Family members who have left the church, whether it's a maponga, their own child who is, and they reference Jesus and they reference the Bible, and it's, you do realize that some of these people you admire in the Bible went through like testing journeys. And this is meant to be an opportunity. It's not meant to be like black and white, like this is wrong. It's meant to be like talk to me. What's bothering you? I'm bothered by the church taking all this money while people are poor. I'm bothered by pastors saying these things while that's happening. I'm bothered by us saying we're no longer going to speak to our cousins because the one is on OnlyFans. No, but Jesus would, what? Jesus wouldn't what? Jesus would actually go and ask, are you okay? What's wrong? Like, can we chat? Do you need money? Are you on OnlyFans because you're struggling? But we are an entire family that's meant to be helping you. And instead we're shunning you.
In essence, Pen, are you saying that you're not part of the Christian community anymore because of the community and the people, but not the religion itself? What are you saying?
You want to know that for yourself? Anyways, I was just making the reference to Maponga, that he took so many people out of the church. Jesus Christ took so many people away from Judaism. I think that's the reference I was trying to make.
Did you answer the question?
No, I'm going to answer.
Okay.
You're aware of this? Jesus was Jewish.
Oh, I'm Christian. Yes, I'm very aware. Yeah.
No, other Christians don't. Sorry.
Okay.
So unfortunately, I'm saying Jesus took a lot of Christians out of Judaism.
Okay.
And he almost threw them in the wilderness because Christianity didn't exist. He didn't say, come join our Christian church. He said, follow me. Right? Now, when other leaders somewhere else do the same thing, I'm like, oh, Jesus did that. Like, no, Jesus didn't do that. I'm like, Umaponga is saying nature gives us answers. African spirituality has answers. There was a way of living. We used to connect to God. We don't be so obsessed and myopic about a picture and a rosary. And that's not what God has called for you. There are principles you're meant to extract. And if someone is living according to the principles, that is godly work. Whether they're wearing the brand of Islam, Judaism, Rastafari, Bob Marley, that's godly Jesus work. But if you're not focused on the principles and you focus on the surface stuff, you're like, hey, these guys just smoke weed, but it means when you're like, you've missed the whole vibe. I left Christianity because I read the whole Bible and I wasn't happy about the Christian God at all. And there are biblical characters that I admire to this day, of which my favorite one is Jesus Christ. If I had to pick between Jesus and his so-called father, and you have to pick one, I'd go with Jesus, which should make me Christian. But when I look at how the Christian church is set up and how the leaders of the Christian church move and what they expect of a Christian, I cannot be that at all.
Okay.
You had a third wish guest.
No, I mentioned my South African, a third wish guest. I don't know how to pronounce his surname. Eckhart Toole. Again, erring very closely to spirituality, which this is why I keep thinking, maybe I want to have lunch with these people because I actually hate discussing religion on my platform or on this platform because religion is so polarizing. But yeah, Eckhart would definitely be somebody I'd love to meet. And then,
Did he do The Secret to a Purpose-Driven Life?
The Secret. Purpose
Secret.
Driven Life is no. He didn't do either. He did Power of Now or something. Yeah, Power of Now. This
Eckhart
isn't the
Tolle.
Secret. Yeah,
Tolle. Well, depending on how you pronounce it.
yeah.
Isn't the Secret his?
No.
It's not.
Check.
Oh, that's Rhonda Byrne.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. The Secrets of Self-Realization is Eckhart Tolle.
I think his most popular one is something called The Power of Now, a book called The Power of Now.
Power of Now.
And then there was another book you mentioned. You
The
asked?
Purpose-Driven Life. I think that's Rick Warren.
Yes.
I was
that's what
gifted
Rick
that
Warren.
by a very devout Christian friend of mine
It's
in
a lovely
varsity, Carrie Lynn Rogerson, white, blonde goat, blue eyes, who was like, I see something in you. There were many Christians, along my way that really wanted me to do the things.
Yeah,
The Power of Now.
Even
Eckhart
in the
Tolle.
last episode, I saw Christians there saying, guys, let's band together and pray for. Don't laugh. But it just reminded me religion is polarizing. And I try to never have a public comment about it. But maybe when the cameras go off, we'll
Do you
chat.
not think you're meant to be an instrument?
That's why I say it's polarizing. It's polarizing. It's like what you're saying about the community, the Christian community. There's so many different communities, and there's some communities that get so much light, and you're like, but that isn't what I stand for. And so, very much Christian. But it is difficult sometimes to align with a petrol drinking, grass drinking. It's become like a joke almost, which saddens my heart because, like you're saying, I just don't know if we're saying the exact same thing, but a lot of it has been, a lot of what it's supposed to be has been lost in the last time we had a chat to say people don't take Christianity seriously as much. And then I even said, do you think it has to do with bombings? And you said, no, but we don't have that fear in South Africa. And so, it's a tricky place, but yeah.
Do you think Christianity is a personal journey and relationship?
Absolutely.
You don't think it's a group assignment?
No.
You don't think the work Jesus was doing was a group assignment?
I think there is a mandate. There is a mandate, right? So Jesus left a mandate in Matthew 28. Go ye therefore, like you should tell people about Jesus and his work. But it's an individual. So you're telling people about an individual assignment that they should do. So you're the one sitting in class. And then you go back and say, guys, we have to do assignment. But it's not a group assignment. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see the difference? So I go...
But aren't you meant to what you're saying about Matthew, the mandate in Matthew, aren't you meant to use your platform to mandate people to say, look, or to use your mandate to say, look, it's a personal journey, but I'd just like to put you on.
There's this, it's not a verse, it's definitely a saying. It says, preach the word, use words if you must. So I do believe that there's a certain life that you're supposed to live that is testament. Then people are like, oh, which religion are you? And then you're like, I'm Christian. That in and of itself is like you're fulfilling a mandate. You're living a certain way. But to say that you need to necessarily be spitting Bible verses all the time, I don't think that's what the mandate is. The mandate is, live a life that represents Christ.
You believe in fishing more than hunting?
Oh, yeah, I gotta give fishers of men, not hunters of men. I've never thought of it like that, but I guess.
You believe that the work you do at TCC is godly work?
Yeah, I actually do.
Okay.
What are you
You're done with
thinking
your 3 guests?
No, did I give you 3? But I feel like the first 2 I was almost cheated off. Okay.
You can give as many as you want.
Yeah.
Jay Shetty, Oprah Winfrey? No.
It would be Michelle.
Obama. Michelle Obama?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Why Michelle?
I always talk about it. Her book helped me.
Oh, it's her book.
Yeah.
It's not her. There's a book.
No, but I'm also like obsessed with her podcast.
And her podcast.
Yeah.
Oh. It's not Michelle Obama, the wife of ex-president or former president.
Yeah.
It's a book I read and her podcast.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, where I've always felt... Yeah, she just makes me feel like as a powerhouse, you can be relatable. She talks about like, sitting with her girls and watching Say Yes to the Dress. And like, there's a time just to... And it's like, it feels like you always have to be on when you're a public figure. And I feel like she manages to take the cloak off of like, I'm very human and I watch very human content and I laugh but that doesn't mean I'm not concerned with world hunger and world peace and climate change. Like she makes me realize that you can tackle big things and still be very human and very simple in the same breath. Very relatable. Her book teaches me that you don't have to have it all and know what you're doing. There isn't some grand plan.
You don't have to have it all.
Yeah, like you don't have to have it all figured out, rather.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I like her. I like her so much. And the book came at a time where I was still that young girl who felt like, I need to know what my next move is. And so when I read it, I was like, if Michelle didn't know, and it really settled me in a way that nothing else could have settled me at the time till now, where I just feel.
I wanted to throw names, but I realized this is dangerous. Any 2 female podcasters, South African, that you think are dope?
Sure. And
besides yourself?
Yeah, I hate that I wouldn't know top of mind because I actually don't watch a lot of...
No problem. I don't watch a lot of podcasts as well.
But I never want to seem like,
Sure.
like it's not that. It's just that there's a lot to be consumed.
You also don't have to mention female. You can mention male, maybe. Or you don't have to mention South African. If you're like, look, I'd rather just... Michelle Obama's dope.
But nothing to South African podcasters that it's not that I don't like. Yeah. It's just we live in like a content dense world. So sometimes I don't get around to, not necessarily.
Let me ask this question. Do you watch any South African podcast? No.
Maybe yours. Sometimes, no, not really. No. I'm trying to think.
No. Do you watch or listen to any international podcasts?
Yeah. And I don't even know the host's name. That's how bad it is.
Damn.
The Art of Manliness.
Art of Manliness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Please check it out and say who the host is.
And you watch Michelle Obama?
Yeah.
Or listen?
Well, the Michelle Obama one, it's not even like religious, super religious. I also listened to Trevor's one. Also not super religious.
Trevor Noah?
Yeah. Also not super religious. I wouldn't want to make it seem like I catch every episode. Maybe Michelle's I've listened to maybe 3. So this is a tricky one for me simply because I'm not... Do you know that I didn't even know we were starting a podcast when we started TCC? I didn't know it was called a podcast. That's how much I don't really consume podcasts.
Understand. Brett McKay.
I heard people saying, oh, you're a podcaster. And I was like, I'm a what?
Brett McKay, the Art of Manliness
podcast. Is that
podcast.
His name? I know his voice so well.
Yeah.
Because I listen to him on Spotify. I don't know what he looks like. And I don't know his name. But that's one that I catch a lot of his episodes.
What's it about?
Anything. He speaks on like philosophy, like different philosophers. He does a lot of like book related. So if you write a book, he usually brings you on.
Okay.
So he speaks to a lot of authors. And I'd love to chat to Malcolm Gladwell.
Okay.
I'd love to chat. Yeah. I'd love to chat. Yes.
What's the other book? David and Goliath?
He's got many books. David and Goliath, Tipping Point. Yeah, he's got quite a few. Talking to Strangers. He's got a lot of books. He's a brilliant, brilliant author. Whether it translates in interviews, I wonder. I've never really heard one of his interviews. Yeah. That's somebody
Most of your guests, you seem to want to sit with to listen.
Oh, absolutely.
Not to engage.
To listen, yeah. I'm a listener. Well, even though I talk a lot, but I love absorbing. That's why when you say to me, I'm going to ask you questions, I freak out because I'm like, oh my gosh, no. Genuinely get super anxious. I'm sure people are going to be like, she's so cagey. Because it's true, I get super cagey when it's time to be asked questions. I'm really there to like absorb. And I invite people that I enjoy like hearing from. Like, I think they've got something to say and share. We recently had a guest who spoke of like her journey with an autistic child, Spongile Masemola. I could be getting her surname wrong. But I was just so consumed at her experience. You know, we go through these things and we have a tendency to want to hide the ugly parts of the journey from the world because of how difficult they are. But yeah, I appreciate somebody who doesn't hide parts of their story. And then it opens this window to say, you're not the only one going through this. You know what I mean? You're not the only one going through a situation with an autistic child. Your struggles are similar. She tells a story of she had stopped going to church because it's so difficult to manage her child. And then one day randomly decides, let me leave my child with the dad and let me go with the second child who's neurotypical. And they go to church, and when they get to church, she's like, this is not so bad. Let me try to bring my neuroatypical daughter next time. She goes with the daughter, and as soon as she walks in, they say, oh, no, take your daughter to Sunday school. She says, oh, no, she's autistic. So then they're like, oh, no, we've got a sensory room. And so things like that, like, for me, it was like mind-blowing that, which person wouldn't want an experience where there's a world that caters for them, and you share it on a platform like ours, and it's like, guys, and then even like, I'd love to see a Spur restaurant, shout out to you, Spur, we love you guys, with like a sensory room for autistic kids, or, where we can start developing these spaces. But how can we when the people with autistic kids aren't telling us the story? The fact that there isn't like an organized plan for people with children with disabilities for when they pass away. So the big waiting issue around kids with disabilities on a parent is what happens if I pass away to my child. And I'm like, why isn't there an organized plan yet? Be it some kind of policy you can take out that says, if you pass away, we'll do this and this for your child until, like, it feels like there aren't any collective movements. And for me, it's like it has more to do with the people that are going through it aren't speaking up enough. And so I like to, it's called awareness. I like to bring awareness to, I'm making an example specifically now on autism, but generally, yeah.
Just a quick note, it would be very interesting to have someone say their wish guest is someone they want to talk to and not so much listen to. My wish guest is Kanye. Why? Because I want to tell him there are certain things that are burning me that I want to tell him, that I think if he was to change these things, or I want to heal him, or I want to, whatever the case is, I want him to be my guest because I want to talk to him, and I want him to listen or her to listen. I think that would be interesting.
Do you have anyone like that? I can't think of anyone.
I'm gonna press pause here, and then I'm gonna allow you to ask your questions. Sorry, I took liberties.
There's even more questions for me.
There's a lot.
How?
Oh, are you fine not asking me?
No.
I can go.
Hey, I'm happy to be.
No, I can go.
Hey.
Thank you for sharing, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm trying to bite my tongue.
Please bite your tongue. Please bite your tongue. Just try it.
No, I can't.
No, just try.
No.
You always say I want to bite my tongue, and then you don't bite it. So let's see what it looks like.
No, this is important.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Keep going.
That thing you were saying about people with children with disabilities not having a plan.
Yeah.
Almost all parents don't have a plan, regardless of their kids. So if I die, my disabled child will struggle, but my able-bodied child will struggle. And we just don't have a plan. We used to raise our kids in villages, and we mustn't wait for government. Government is not God. We must do it. We mustn't wait for the schools. We must do it. It starts with like each person saying, it starts with a church. It starts with a restaurant saying, we are going to do this. Whether it's because the owner has got a child like this, but we've realized, guys, we all don't have a plan and we need to sort it out.
This is why I said, I think the word was a collective or a corporate plan. As in, let's say not even government. Imagine like an insurance policy.
Yes.
That was specifically to cater to parents with kids with disabilities, to say, Mom, Dad, don't worry. If you pass away, we've got this. We'll take care of your kid. And you pay 99 Rand a month or whatever.
I just wanted to say we mustn't forget the able kids, because their parents also have no plan. With all your perfection, good looking, smart, did well, you're like, I'm now depressed and I'm stuck because my parents had no plan. And I'm just saying we need specific tailor-made plans for children with some level of disability, because they are more needy than the next child. But I'm just saying we just need to have a plan for like all our children.
It's interesting. As you were saying it, I'm thinking maybe this hence is our obsession with generational wealth and money being enough for even our grandkids. But there's another part of me that's like, is that not an element of, there's a poem that I really enjoy by Khalil Gibran. I think
Khalil Gibran.
Hey,
we also read like Konvo. We don't just fart around. Khalil Gibran, his most popular work is The Prophet.
Oh,
I got this from a lady I knew in varsity.
he's got a poem called Children or Parents. I think it's called Children. And basically, he discusses the concept that a parent is the bow, the child is an arrow. And he says the bow will never get to where the arrow is going. And he says a parent should fully understand and accept. Well, not in so many words as a poem, but when you, what do they call it, interpret the poem, he's basically speaking of you are not going to go to the generations and you will not see what they see and you will not experience what they experience. Your journey in this life ends here. And so when I read it, firstly, it relinquishes me as a child of wanting, to be like the perfect kid, so that my parents know that I'll be okay. Because at the end of the day, you are being thrown into a room or a generation or an era that your parents will never reach. And allowing yourself to fully sever that tie that this person is of me, but they're not mine. Your child is of you, but not yours. They don't belong to you. And you can't, like, you're not God of their lives. It's a very difficult thing to fully grasp for yourself as a parent and as a child. I'm not a parent, but I can see them, my parents. But also as a child, that I don't live in the safety of these people past a certain age. And so I'm just thinking about our obsession with like leaving money, generational wealth in and of itself. Is that not us trying to control how guarded and how, I don't know, is that not us trying to make sure that we leave, trying to be the arrow? Remember I made the bow and arrow example from the poem? So understand that you are a bow. Understand that you are for this life. And even though you give birth, you're giving birth to an arrow and you'll never get there.
There's I don't know if it's a philosopher, and I can't remember who said it, but it's something about from when we're born, we start preparing to die. And I think maybe a lesson for parents is to understand that from when your child is born, you should be preparing to let that child leave, to get out the nest. Your job is not to hog the child. Your job is to ensure that you're prepping your child to leave as comfortably and safely as possible, hopefully while you're still alive. Would you like to read the poem?
You can read it, sure.
I think you're a better reader than me.
No,
Sorry,
absolutely not.
Thank you, sir. Would you like to read it?
No.
You're a better reader than me.
I've read the points that I would like to.
Is it worth reading?
It's absolutely worth reading. Go read it at home, guys.
I mustn't read it here.
I'm cool with not reading, but you can read it.
No problem. No, we can keep going.
Yeah.
You had questions for me?
I do have many questions for you.
Many.
Well, they're not from me. They're from your viewers. James Mahlangu on Facebook says, how do you survive without employment, 9 to 5? And how can we reach that level?
I made a TikTok recently referencing the ex-CEO of Capitec, Gerrit Fourie. I think it's Gerrit Fourie. I stand to be corrected. Gerrit went and said what was deemed controversial in saying that he thinks the unemployment numbers in South Africa are overinflated at over 30%. And in his opinion, our real unemployment is probably at 10%. And Stats General and other people at Stats SA caught feelings. And they were like, oh, Capitec now collects data and stats. On what authority are you saying this? He said this in June, July. He stepped down like a month or something later. For whatever reasons, not because of that. Politicians, for their political endeavors and ambitions, come up with these slogans that are meant to win the hearts and minds of people that are going to vote for them so they can have power. And some of these slogans and lines are not rooted in reality and practicality. If anything, a lot of them become very distracting. We want the land. We want the jobs. Karis One would sit with Nick Cannon, I don't know how many years ago, on a podcast. And he'd say they didn't steal our land, they stole our minds. He says the land is still there, but our minds are not at a level where we can get that land back. Land is not what people seek. Land is. It's there. It's the sky, it's the water. You want access to resources that allow you to be productive so you can take care of yourself. Land happens to be the thing that everyone has been told is the thing. There are many poor communities in South Africa that have lots of land, but are poor and need help. And a lot of their children will migrate to the cities and live in a shack, leaving land to show you how land means nothing. Facebook, Airbnb, all of these guys are not obsessed with land because they have an ability to get you to use your land to their ends. Jobs becomes the other one. We have been made to be obsessed with like jobs. A few generations ago, our forefathers and foremothers did not have jobs. We had 100% unemployment in this country because they were working for themselves. That's what nature intended, for you to work the land for self. What nature intended was for us to raise our own children, to educate our own children, to be our children's doctors and nurses. But we live in this modern capitalistic world where if you don't have medical aid, if you don't have a job, if your kids don't go to school, if you don't live in a built house and get a bond, you are nothing. That's not nature. So the concept of a 9-to-5 and a job is just like a human creation. I work like everyone else. We work. It's just a matter of, do you work at home? Do you work in your own establishment? Do you work in someone else's establishment? Do you get paid by HR? Do you get paid by a boss? Do you get paid by a client? Do you get that's all it is. It's just constructs. And what I said in that TikTok is South Africans need to move away from this obsession of jobs and rather discuss income. Because there are people that have jobs that are earning 3,000 Rand a month. And there are people that are unemployed but are managing to hustle somehow 7,000 a month. And what the Capitec CEO was trying to explain, that there's an informal market and we see these guys coming to bank money with our data. And I'm telling you now, when we cross-reference their data to Stats SA, these guys are deemed unemployed. But I see every month getting at 12,000, 14,000, 6,000. But this guy's unemployed and he's getting an SRD grant. And his kids are getting a child grant. But this person has a job, Uhola 5,000, he doesn't qualify for these things. We need to move to income. So a question like that, as dope as it is meant to address, you don't need a 9-to-5, you don't need a job, you don't need an employer. You just need to find work. And then you need to find a way to get paid for that work. And you need to try and make it sustainable. And where you can draft contracts to that. And I was able to create that life for myself. And more people should do the same.
You're speaking of entrepreneurship.
No, I'm speaking of life. I'm speaking of money as a means to an end. If you can get a house and food and your kids get an education without you needing money, money becomes useless. And I'm just saying, doing work, cleaning your house, transporting someone, feeding someone, making a sandwich, banking someone's money, that's work. Find work and then find someone to pay you. Entrepreneurship becomes this, I'm an entrepreneur, I've set up a business, I've got a business plan. And no, I'm just saying, just work and be compensated and then find the best model for you. You might find in the work that you're trying to do, maybe this will be my last point. Ex-CEO of Michael Jordan, I think he became ex-CEO of FNB, Michael Jordan. I think he became CEO of FNB when he was 32 years old. He was the youngest banking CEO. Absolutely brilliant. Left banking to go become a venture capitalist. I once DM'd him on Twitter and I asked him, at which point in corporate, this had to do with, I think we were discussing e-wallet and at the same time, the Vodacom Please Call Me story, Sankosana Makati. At which point do I pitch my idea to the company I work for, or I go do it on my own on the outside? And he was like, really good question. He's like, my opinion, my answer to you is, if you have the resources needed to ignite that idea on your own, always do it on your own. But if you need a lot of infrastructure and funding and backing that you cannot access, then do it within a company, but just make sure that you try as best as you can to protect the IP. You're doing the same work, just in different fields. There are so many entrepreneurs that should go get a job because they are letting themselves down. LeBron James doesn't need to build a basketball team, etc., to be great. He must go and join one that's going to allow him to earn at the highest level. So, yeah, that's my answer.
There's this clip on social media of a young lady where they ask her, "What do you do?" And she says, "I'm a hustler."
Come on.
And you've got no right to ask me. Only a fellow hustler can ask me what I do. And that's the answer you just gave in
whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. I think it is entrepreneurship, what you just described. But I see how you want to make the distinction as to what entrepreneurship has become or what it's supposed to look like. Like you said, the business plan, it's been decorated so much, or decorated isn't the word, but it's been given so many connotations that people who are in business don't feel like they're in business because they don't have a business plan, because they don't have a business account. And but you wake up in the morning, you're an entrepreneur. I was recently introduced to, or came to the knowledge of, an organization called YLED, and I found the initiative so brilliant. They basically take grade 11 students. You need to apply for it and you need to write essays, motivate. So firstly, you distinguish yourself as a candidate that should be a part of the group that's selected. And then you get put into a Saturday class for a whole year. And the whole concept is to introduce, so it's YLED, so it's entrepreneurship and leadership. And the whole idea is to introduce the concept of entrepreneurship as a viable option post-matric. So that's something that I think is missing in our education system right now, that we're almost groomed for the 9-to-5 route. And there's business studies, yes, but it's not the same as hustle, see a gap. And I like the initiative of training young minds to see gaps of opportunity to flourish. Because I think it is something that needs to be instilled early, because there's a bit of a shame that can come with it if you try to introduce it too late. You've been taught that the banking route is the route, or the whatever, corporate, or 9-to-5, or be a doctor, or, And so when somebody introduces to go hustle at a later age, there's something about it that doesn't land as softly.
Yeah, if it wasn't a culture growing up, you're going to really struggle.
Yes, and that's
why... Really struggle.
I appreciated this initiative that's from the beginning, from grassroots, we're introducing to you that there are other options. You can be a hustler.
What's the question there? Let me answer this person directly without the philosophy.
It was just, how do you survive without a 9-to-5?
I used to work in banking.
You did answer them, because the second part says, and how can one reach that level? So you did answer them.
I was in banking, and while I was in banking, I'd already written books. So I was selling my books that made me money. While I was in banking, I used my pay slip to get a personal loan to open a fish and chip shop, which didn't last for long, sadly. But I went from a fish and chip shop to owning a moving truck for furniture. This is while I was still working. And that truck made me enough money for me to be brave enough to jump out. But after I jumped out, I didn't stop. I was still selling my books. I was doing the moving of furniture. I used some money to buy cars that became meter taxis. I started a microloans business. I would do speaking gigs that would make me money. It's that whatever it takes. People must just not imprison themselves to say, I can only earn an income in a job. Because there are people in jobs who also need to be making money outside of their employment. And it's this culture that needs to change. Yeah. Which I guess, you'd call entrepreneurship.
Next question. What's your biggest regret? Short and sweet, huh?
The question is short and sweet. The answer is not. I want to say I've got no regrets, but I'd be lying. I've got a whole lot of smaller regrets. But I'll tell you this, and it's a regret, but it's not like something I've fixed. I wish I could believe in myself more.
You believe you're God. How much more do you want to believe in yourself?
What's wrong, man? What's bugging you?
What's more than that?
What's bugging you, man?
Caesar, what's more than believing you're God? What's more?
I wish I believed in myself more. I wish I was braver with the things that my gut said were okay. So in all the little moments, somewhere with regret, I wish I went up to that girl. I wish I said, no, I disagree. I wish I jumped on that thing. I wish when I had the ball, I didn't pass it and I ran. All those little moments where there's like a little bit of self-doubt. It's minute, but it can compound for a lot of people. Luckily, you know, I think I'm pretty dope and pretty great, and I think I have very high self-belief. But there could be so much more. I look at people like Elon Musk, Kanye West, and I see myself, honestly. I look at Steve Jobs, Leonardo da Vinci. I'm like, that's me. The difference is they were braver than me. Penuelism as a concept should be currently like a fully fledged religion, but there's something that's holding me back. I should have my own political party as well. This podcast should be international now, but there's something that holds me back. So those become the smaller nyana regrets, which I'm still living in now.
Sure. I hear you. What's your biggest achievement?
My children. Short question, short answer. My children are the greatest thing I've ever achieved in this world. They will be the greatest thing I'll ever achieve in this world.
Succession plan for Penuelism.
Don't have one yet. The closest thing is the books that I've written will hopefully live beyond me. And they sit in people's hands and it's going to be up to them what they do with it. I found out that, I think it's Friedrich Nietzsche, only sold 300 copies of his work while he was alive. I think Vincent van Gogh, depending on who you ask, I think only sold one artwork while he was alive. So the fact that I've passed on, I've shot the arrows into the world. Hopefully someone somewhere will use it and spark it into something else.
Why do you always wear black clothes? What's behind it?
Can't afford washing powder. And I
don't
have time to be
black clothes. You still have to.
We don't
wash
know
them.
that because you don't know how long I've been wearing them. You know, this was asked last time, man. I think it was asked last time. It wasn't.
I think it's just a question people ask you often.
Yeah, I'm a minimalist. In the same vein as Albert Einstein, Steve Jobs, and Mark Zuckerberg, and there's something called decision fatigue or decision-making fatigue, especially by wealthy people, where they try to automate as much of the mundane shit as possible because they're like, my reason for existence is not being a fashionista. I don't get paid to be a fashionista. I get paid maybe to be a mind. I get paid maybe to be an athlete. It's the reason why in companies people wear uniforms and they like to be like, we don't need you being like, I'm so sorry I was late, boss. I didn't know what to wear. Like, okay, we're going to kill that because it's killing our bottom line. You will wear the same fucking thing every day. Same with schools. Kids are worried, oh my God, did you see what Ursula was wearing today? It's like, we all know what she's going to be wearing tomorrow. Focus on your books. So that allows us to do that. I love black as a color. Black is the color of chimpanzees, which is my favorite animal. Yeah, that's the short of it. There's a longer philosophical, but it's just that.
Do you ever crave to be creative? I know you're a creative. Isn't there like a creative thing?
With fashion?
Yeah.
My art is not what I wear.
Okay.
Yeah, my art is elsewhere. I think Gavin Roger, David Clowley also wear black, if I'm not mistaken. So their artwork is obviously in the fashion they make, but they're like, I'm not the canvas. So Nami, similarly, I'm not the canvas. Other people can be the canvases. Maybe like my children. My children are my artworks. Yeah.
What's your take on online creators teaming up with DSTV? Are they selling out? Would you consider it if you were approached? If yes, on what conditions?
Can we go to the next question? I think we've discussed this somewhere else.
That was the last question I had for you.
No problem. Let's go to you.
No, wait. What happened?
Let me go to you. Let me go to you.
Did you answer?
What's the question? Did you read the people's names? You know, people want to hear their names, man. People are like, hey, that's my question, that.
People want to hear their names. So
there was a lady who Pelo.
Yeah.
I remember she even commented and was like, thank you so much. My name is...
Those were my questions.
Thank you for asking my questions. She said she would join as a paying member. She still hasn't. But yeah, she had a lot of questions. Dope questions as well.
Nokuthokoza Zungu asked the one about...
Nokuthokoza
Zungu asked the one about black questions. Lalas Mosia.
Black clothes.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I said black questions. Lalas Mosia is the one that asked about the online content creators. And then we had James Mahlangu.
Was the first?
Regrets. Yeah, first regrets and achievements.
That was all James.
Yeah, that was all James Mahlangu.
Ulala Musia asked about DSTV.
Look again, yeah.
I've got a long answer, man.
Lalas Mosia.
Lalas. Debs and I were actually speaking about this with Usizwe just today. I'm not going to say what we spoke about, but I'm going to say this. Nota would say this and other people would say this, and I'd say no. We need to destroy mainstream. I was like, no, we need to collaborate. There's an opportunity to collaborate with mainstream. They've got the infrastructure. We've got the new juice. So let's come together and work. Mainstream media in the last couple of years has been moving shady. And it makes me sad, and it reminds me of the ANC. Clearly, there are old dinosaurs there, or people that are so insecure about their jobs on mainstream platforms with the brands as well, who for various reasons refuse to let podcasters, TikTokers, Twelebs, I think is what they called, Facebookers, they're scared to let them jump on their platforms and be great. And that's just whack. And there are brands that are holding on to their marketing budget saying, no, send it to that ad agency. My mate runs it. And this is how we both afford Ferraris. And they're going to die. They're unfortunately going to die in time because evolution, especially in the business world, in technology, is a thing. We're podcasting here today, for fuck's sakes. And no one asks us. We didn't pitch to government. We didn't beg anyone. We did it.
Do you ever fear that the points you make sometimes can get lost in the way you make them?
A lot of times, yes. You're losing my points?
No. I'm just wondering if in the brashness in which you deliver some really dope things, do you ever fear that you could lose half the audience that's supposed to hear it?
I'm happy to lose them because something like this for me is, I want to say fuck you to those guys. I want them to get offended because I want them to understand that in 10 years' time after they've lost their jobs, I'm going to be like, but guys, we tried. It's not by accident
we
that there was
by saying F you.
No, that's not what we did. We actually were like, guys, please, can we work? We'll show you all the emails where we were like, please, can we meet? And you guys stuck your noses up at us. And we watched you lose market share. The Black Panther movement, Konvo as a guerrilla army, Che Guevara as a revolutionary. A lot of these guys try. When you actually do it, when you track, you're like, but they sent Ursula, guys, and you didn't listen. Then they sent Dr. Sizwe Mpofu Walsh, then you didn't listen. Then they sent Mac G and everyone laughed and you guys didn't listen. Then they sent Pen who dropped some F-bombs. Then you guys didn't listen. Then someone became president and he said, fuck mainstream media. We're only going to fund podcasters. And then you guys kick and scream and I'm like, I don't understand. You can't come to me now. Oh, please put in a good word with Ursula and Mac G, please, Vetu. I'm like, I can't. Because we sent the most thoughtful and the most considerate amongst us to speak to you. And you guys only started listening when they started bombing your buildings. Why? Why did it have to get there? Why did it have to get there? We're like, we'd love to be on mainstream. This is where I was doing an interview on mainstream. This is where I was writing an article. Like, I was there. I was never anti-you. But you guys never gave us the respect to just listen and to just, where can we find each other so that we can all win?
Don't you think that there's a risk for them with regards to, they just have a body to answer to, Broadcasting Complaints Commission?
That means nothing.
Is it?
The BCCSA means nothing because it's run by people like you and I. It's like this fear of the Constitution. Oh, that dropped from the heavens. Moses climbed on a mountain to go and fetch it on tablets of stone. No, the Constitution was written by Ramaphosa and these oaths. We can change it. It's words. Now we must... But guys, the Constitution, what the hell? The BCCSA, the Broadcasting Complaints Commission of South Africa, is a body that is meant to make sure that viewing, we hear it all the time, is fair, is what, doesn't amount to hate speech. 100%. We understand. We're saying kids are watching podcasts. We need to ask why. And then we need to be like, can we bring these onto mainstream? And if the gatekeeper is the BCCSA, then the BCCSA wants to destroy jobs. And we need to ask, do we want the BCCSA to destroy jobs and for YouTube America to make money? Is that what we're saying, guys? We'd rather lose money here and make money in America because kids want to hear F-bombs. They don't want to hear them on TV. Then you have to look at all the questionable things that have been on TV, on Moja Love or Emmanuel. And you're like, where was the BCCSA here? You guys are hypocrites. You're lying.
What's the other
Who's
one?
the
Watch
person?
11?
Emmanuel.
What's that?
So, you don't know what Emmanuel is?
No.
I just want to look at your face. Nope. So Emmanuel was like pornography that used to play on ETV back in the day.
On ETV?
Back in the day, very late at night. Debs was trying to check if your face is flinching. What's Emmanuel? What's Emmanuel?
No, but I'm younger than you guys.
No comment. You see here, I will not comment at all.
No, I think it's an age thing.
Hey.
I don't remember pornography ever being on TV.
That's okay. Just don't say you're younger than us because I don't want to expose you. So please, out of respect for you and the people that follow you, to be like, we've got a young woman like Ursula. Let's keep it that way. Let's keep it that way. Okay? Next time, be careful of what you throw on the table.
Whatever.
I don't have an issue with the BCCSA. I don't have an issue with mainstream media.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to the podcasters that actually went and pitched Abo Bala, Abo Mekji, to go and push. And shout out to DSTV to say, guys, come. Channel O at some point at Abo Mek. That's brilliant. And where it's not working, let's chat. So we can't do this type of content for now. But let's pitch to the BCCSA. We can play these things. We'll play these episodes, but we'll edit this out. You're like say, winning. You can't just chuck us out now. There's an article, I'm not going to reference it. There's an article that came out today on a prominent newspaper, which used pictures from this podcast, which took sound bites from this podcast to write a piece. And at no point did they credit the picture to us. Literally, it's written image and the source is screenshot. Nowhere did they reference, we're not even asking for money at this point. A similar thing would happen when I'd sit with DJ Sbu, Professor JJ Tabane a couple of years ago, speaking about something political. That clip would be on news, on TV news. They would block out the Hustler's Corner. They would not even mention whose platform it is. You're like, you guys are actually asking that when we sit, we mustn't talk about you. And we must kill you back. Because this joy like, and it's like, you know what, fine. We're fighting for audience, Angit. Good luck. And the day when you guys collapse, because we've seen the stories with Kodak, we've seen the stories with Blockbuster, we've seen, give me the names, all these businesses, BlackBerry, all these businesses that collapse where there's one stubborn asshole who absolutely fucking refuses to listen to, bro, the kids are listening to mumble rap. They're on TikTok. No, we don't do that here. And you're like, fair to, we built our business of listening to the audience. And now you're telling us, fuck the audience, we know better. Okay. You know better. Let's see what happens. Shruti, every kid and their mom who's watching podcasts, they stupid. Don't worry, they'll come back. This is just a fly-by-night. But sir, if we study history, everyone said the same thing. This is how the Titanic sunk. No, even God can't sink. You're like, you. I'll add these two guys in closing to that question. I didn't want to answer it. Denzel Washington, Tyrese Gibson. Huge fans of both gents. Absolutely amazing talents. Tyrese Gibson goes on, it was either Shannon Sharp or The Breakfast Club, and he bashes TikTok. These young kids on TikTok, now you're there with your blue hair. I'm like, no, Tyrese. You were the black, well-built boy with the bald head in a space where we needed that. You were different. I can't believe that you can't see what this is. This is like different kids using a different platform. You're meant to embrace them, and if you don't understand, you're meant to say, guys, I don't understand. Please teach me, or I actually don't want to know, but good luck. I see you guys are killing it. But he's like, if you come to my concerts, I don't want you taking clips of my thing and putting them on TikTok. I don't want that shit. And you're like, what are you saying, bro? Denzel Washington gets asked questions about people using social media and what, and he's like, no, that's not how it, and in my head, I'm like, Denzel is old. This is what you're saying about age. He comes from a different time. He's built his success in a way that was done at the time. The times have changed. Denzel starts today refusing to go on social media, he's not going to make it. Because his equivalent of TikTok and sound bites and was newspapers, was going to theater, was going to church and maybe doing a little skit and being like, please go watch our movie. That was their version. This is the same thing in a different form, but they don't see it. He is like, no, you mustn't do that. It's what. There was a lady, I won't mention her name out of huge respect for her. She was being interviewed by one of the big female podcasters. And she was saying this thing that I always get triggered when artists, thespians, speak. We're not influencers, our craft. And when I hear that, I'm like, I don't think you know the business you're in. You know your craft, which is acting, theater, performance, storytelling. But you don't know the business you are in. The business, the money, is attention capital. And the sales pitch is either subscription, pay to view, or advertising. That's the business. There comes a point where we need to make money for your craft. And to make the money, we need to go and find that pretty girl with 2 million followers on Instagram. She can't act for shit. She forgets her fucking lines. She's not believable at all. She's not convincing. But that new car you just bought is because of that fucking untalented girl. Because the business we are in is attention capital. But if you want us to get rid of her, oh, they're just hiring influencers now. Cool. Go be an independent artist. Go act at church. Go put together a play and try and fundraise. Government is not funding our plays. Because everyone else clearly is stupid. You know better. This is the business. This is why commercial rap would make so much money more than underground, which is what we love. The deep, conscious hip-hop. The lines. Casper Nyovest was on Altido, busy speaking to Kabelo Kosoweto, who's speaking about lyricism and metaphors and bars. He's like, I'm in the music business. I'm here to push streams. I don't know if they still sell CDs and get gigs. Measure me on that. I may not be your favorite lyricist, but I'm in the music business. And some of these guys lose it. And the entertainment media platforms are no different. And if there are certain people who are arrogant out there, who fundamentally believe that they are right, it's okay. Unfortunately, the decisions they make affect so many other people, and that becomes selfish. When the ANC spits out Julius Malema, Floyd Shibambu, Mbuyiseni Ndlozi, they spit out Jacob Zuma, they spit out Terra Likota, Mazima Sheloa, they spit out Malusi Kikaba, they spit out... When they keep spitting out, like especially young talent, and then the young talent ends up coming to eat their lunch tomorrow, they mustn't expect any sympathy from us. Because these guys, these kids used to admire you. They thought you were everything. And at a time when you were meant to be listening, you were so arrogant in your mansion in Hyde Park, in your compound in Kandla, that you are like, I know best. I was in the struggle. I fought for 40 years. This was my life. Okay, you can have that. But your 40 years of struggle is in history. We're looking 40 years into the future. And this is where we are now. So you either get with the program, grandpa, or you get left behind. And unfortunately, we won't be able to help you. You better hope some of your kids are here with us and they'll take care of you. Because if they're also not, shame. Shame, shame, shame.
Penuel can talk, ne?
You said you can listen.
I can.
Must we shut it down? Must I do my questions?
If there's one that you want to ask.
It's not one. There's a lot. Can you answer quickly?
Okay.
Can you try?
Let's try to do very short answers, yes.
Okay, you ready to go?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, this is a lot of juicy questions.
No.
You want to try and be short? I'm going to ask the question and keep quiet.
Juicy questions.
I'm going to ask the question, you want to keep quiet. I'm going to ask the question.
Answer juicy questions.
Huh?
Do I want to answer juicy questions? Okay. Ask. You're going to keep quiet.
You once mentioned to me personally, and I apologize, about what happens in Malawi when a woman gets married, where the mother-in-law brings a gift of a servant. I don't know if that's anything you'd like to share and if you find any beauty in that.
Let's start at definitely a mistranslation of what I was saying. It's not a standard practice. Yeah, so definitely missed what I was saying. But I did speak of the concept of ukotis as not in Malawi. And then I made an example of my aunt, who, when my mom had a second child, me, she sent her personal helper, said she's raised my kids and she's going to be really good for your kids as well, to show you the difference in the culture and the concept of ukotis that doesn't exist, well, to my knowledge. I'll give another example. My eldest sister is a married woman and she's a chartered accountant. She's no longer operating as a chartered accountant. She's now the MD of a nonprofit organization in Malawi. But we were speaking about, I'm like, how is it when you go home to your husband's village? And she was like, what do you mean? I'm like, don't they make you clean? She said, no, I'm educated. And she said it so like matter of factly that the concept of ukotiza really does go with, it's I wouldn't say it's an essay thing, but it doesn't exist in Malawi. That's what I was saying. But not to say that no, that's not what I was saying. So,
Any thoughts around that practice?
Any thoughts? It just reminds me how things are different. It reminds me how you will always look at things with the lens of what you know and the cultures and norms of what you know and understand. The idea that you should be able to cook and clean to make a good wife, I've seen doesn't exist in that world. And I think one of the reasons maybe could be economic, in the sense that labor isn't as expensive as here. But yeah, it just reminds me that the context of, I think that was probably the point of whatever conversation we were having when we were having it.
Do you believe ukotiza is a class thing, even in South Africa?
In South Africa, whether you're a doctor or a lawyer, ukotiza.
Yes, but do you think it's a class thing? Do you think that's why there are certain South African girls who are like, why am I now busy chopping things when we can hire caterers that I can pay for? Do you think we should be having that conversation for everyone to say, look, let's move with the times, and the woman doesn't have to learn from your mom how to cook the son's favorite meal. We can look into different models.
I definitely think it's a class thing, but in SA, there's a very strong ability to keep class and tradition. So you can find a really rich family that's still very traditional in SA. It's not mutually exclusive. So I think it's more of a traditional cultural thing than it is class. But yes, it does go with class as well. Because it does happen here in SA where you find makotis go to their funerals with their helpers. And that's those are my two hands.
Here?
Yes.
You've seen it here?
I've seen it, yeah.
Okay.
I've seen it.
So a wife goes with her helpers?
Yeah, and she's like, hey.
I wonder how many ordinary Black South African wives have done it, have considered it. When you go to a funeral or to a wedding, you're like, I'm going with...
Maybe because I'm a woman and I'm there when we're chopping. It happens a lot.
People are coming with their helpers now to family functions.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's interesting. I've never seen it.
Okay.
I've only seen them maybe with nannies for the kids.
Okay.
That's interesting. Okay. Why do women not vote for each other or buy from each other's businesses at a high level, in your opinion?
Sure. I want to say, no, this isn't true. I went to an event on Sunday. I was hosting an event and there were amazing speakers. I think I can freely, because it's such a beautiful chat that I'm having, I can freely say their names. Iman Repeti was there. Dr. Gaini Mpumelelo Zande, I think her real name is Dr. Gaini, was one of the speakers. Grace Montana was one of the speakers. And Danielle, I just didn't get her surname, but an Afrikaans lady who's adopted a Black girl, Zinzi, also popular on social media. I just don't know their family surname. And it was different. We were also excited to meet each other. We were taking pictures. And then I had a chat with Dr. Gaini afterwards. She says, Sunday was really good. Like, I don't go to events where women are just so excited for each other. And I hated that it was true. You go to these events and it feels almost tense and, where maybe even the community of men would welcome you better than the community of ladies. And it's always such a pity. I don't really have an answer as to why it happens. But I won't stand here or sit here and deny that it does happen. That when it doesn't happen, it's so refreshing. It's like, oh my gosh, we can meet each other, celebrate each other's wins, laugh and chat. And I think it is something that many women want to gear towards, but it's something.
Why don't you vote for female-led parties?
I think sometimes it would feel like I can already hear your comeback, but okay.
I've got no comebacks. I'm just here to listen.
Sometimes the smaller parties feel like a wasted vote.
No, but they're small because... No, I'm sorry. No, I wanted
knew
to say...
it was coming.
No, they're small
know.
because women are not voting for them.
I get that. Like it has to start somewhere,
Yeah.
right? I do get that.
Okay.
But when you're part of the starting movement, and I'm not even just thinking of women, I'm just thinking of supporting a smaller party, it can feel like a wasted vote.
Oh, your issue is that they are small. Maybe if they were bigger.
Yeah, but how do they get bigger without
I understand.
Yeah, it's
but
like
your issue is that they
I
are
eat
small.
because I'm unhappy, and I'm unhappy because I eat.
Similar argument would be for big business.
Yeah.
You don't buy specifically from female-owned businesses because some of the things you need are only in big businesses and they happen to be male-owned.
Sometimes you don't know that what's female-owned and what's male-owned. You know what I mean? Like maybe they should be like, the proudly South African sticker.
Proudly female.
Proudly female. Maybe that would inspire one. But in a personal capacity, I absolutely try to support Black females often. Down to things like if I'm going to look for a caterer. Caterer sounds sex-biased like that. Which should be a woman, I don't know. But I'm definitely the type of person who tries to gear funds towards a specific direction. That's true.
Yeah. Okay.
Even with I can say even down to something like a trip. I've traveled Africa way more, and not necessarily that it's cheaper. You'll find that the flights aren't necessarily cheaper, but I try to put my money into a community that I feel represents me.
By me, you mean as a woman?
I mean as a Black person, actually.
Okay.
More than a woman. So I'd easily take out money to go to Zanzibar. But if you go to Italy, then I'm like, hey. There's a part of me that wants to gear funds into a specific community.
You believe that men and women are equal?
Anything you can do, I can do bleeding.
Bleeding?
Yeah.
Okay, that's you.
Oh, whatever.
You or you mean something else?
There's nothing wrong with bleeding.
Are you doing menstruation?
Yeah.
That's what you mean? Anything I can do bleeding? Yeah. That's disgusting.
I think men and women are equal. Difficult blanket statement because individuals, meaning, I don't want to make an example with I nearly said a person's name, but a very strong female athlete could outrun
all of us.
Yeah. As an individual. But there are generalizations that I think have boxed women into not even attempting. And so I think it's the generalizations that allow us not to attempt. So we don't really know if men are better runners than women. But I think slowly we're getting to a place, we're getting there.
Do you think we should be doing more work, especially at the youngest levels, to get them to be equal and to get them to challenge each other? So academics became the one place where women were brought in.
Yeah.
And very quickly we saw that not only are they capable, but in many aspects they can dominate.
Yeah.
To what you're saying about running, speaking personal experience, a lot of the Black girls in particular, when they get to high school, they drop off.
Yeah.
They stop doing athletics. Yeah. They're too cool, but the boys are looking at me, etc. Versus if they were forced to participate.
Or not forced, if the stereotype didn't make it awkward for them to.
No, I'm talking forced. I'm talking school level where things are compulsory. There are certain schools in this country, sports, you have to have one winter sport, one summer sport. There are certain schools where you have to do an extramural. So I literally mean forced to get women to be like, we know the stereotypes exist, but you will lift these weights. You will attempt to fix this car. You will do you think we should be pushing for that? I
think we are already heading in a certain direction. I just think it is going to take as long as it took for the contract to be built, or maybe even longer. But I do think there are female mechanics. We're getting there. It's a slow process.
It sounds like you're saying we must just leave it and let it happen organically instead of pushing.
I don't think it's happening organically. I think there is a pushing happening. What I'm saying is I don't think nothing is being done. You're making it seem like nothing is being done.
No, not at all.
I think a lot is being done.
Yeah.
And these conversations are part of things that are being done.
Okay.
And I think we're inching in a different direction. I don't think things are the same. And more than not thinking things are the same, I don't think we're on the... So let's say we're in a moving car. We're not going in this direction anymore. We're going in this direction. Whether the car's moving fast or not is another question, but we are moving in a different direction, an undeniable direction. So I do think we're getting to a place where, I'd love to, if you think out the box, imagine a mixed team. Imagine a mixed soccer team where the goalkeeper that was picked was the best one, not male or female. I think we are heading in that direction. And I think we're going to see things. I think my granddaughter will see that life. So all I know is that the steering has shifted.
Are you a cultural woman?
Culture?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Do you follow like Zulu customs from Malawi?
No. And
You're just
simply
Christian.
because, and let's start with, I think simply because I am raised in a culture neutral home. My mom is Zulu, grew up among Sotho. My dad is biracial Malawian, grew up in a Malawian village, Neno, and then moved to SA. And so there's a neutrality in which my parents raised us. For their marriage to work as well, they needed to sort of leave their, norms, cultures, or maybe not leave, but like an emulsion. I'll give you a good example. I grew up eating avocado with sugar and milk. And I went to boarding school, and the boarding school had a lot of SADC region foreign nationals. So Zambia, Zimbabwe, Malawi, Botswana. And now when it's time for us to eat avocado, there was a clear distinction that, South Africans put salt and pepper. And then that's when I learned that, the Malawian side of me taught me something that I didn't realize was different. But also to find space in it with other kids. But I could have never known that, this is something that we're doing. And maybe if I had learned it in primary school, I would have felt odd, like my family is weird. But now because I was learning it where there was a clear distinction that, this is an outside of South Africa thing, I was like, okay. Yeah.
I was asking the context of men and women. I wanted to know if I need to add the cultural, but as a Christian woman, should we be changing how the Christian community views men and women? Because it's happening in business, it's happening in academia, it's happening maybe a little bit in sports, but now we're not speaking religion and culture, where a lot of these orthodox ways of being are still really, really held strong there.
And maybe it's the communities I'm in, Pen. In my church, there's a lot of female leaders. I can actually perhaps say maybe our head pastor is a man, but there are many female pastors. And so I think it's just the context of the religious people maybe that you're exposed to. Like I said,
do you believe those women go home and they are equal to their husbands?
Equal is a tricky word.
If she makes more money than him.
Are you talking about the female pastors?
I'm speaking about the female leaders in the church. I'm saying when they go home, do you feel like they are actually equal, or do they leave their Christian leadership at the door?
I always think a personal relationship is the one that not only turns the angle, but moves the fastest of all communities. It's difficult to move a whole community, but me and you can turn and move quite quickly. In the sense that we spoke about it, meritocracy, the day you told me meritocracy, our first interview.
You didn't know what it was? So embarrassing.
Everyone on the internet is like, yeah, I'm shayile lapho pen.
They were right.
Whatever.
Always. Khalil Gibran. Come on.
Yes, you're a man and you know more and you're better.
Nothing to do with being a man. Whatever. It's because of merit. I'm smarter.
So you and I, in a partnership, can decide. We steer the ship and we move really quickly. And so I think in any partnership, male and female, what a pity it would be for it to be deteriorated because the woman is earning more. And I think the cases of such are lessening because there's a new understanding, there's a new wave, a new revolution. I don't see it. I don't see myself ever being in a relationship where I earn more than my husband and he would feel small for it. I don't see it. Those are not the people that I'm surrounded by. And I feel like it's the new wave, the new direction that we're taking.
I'm asking because we speak about man being the provider, woman submitting. We speak about a Proverbs 31 woman, etc. That all becomes religious. And I'm asking, should we not be trying to shift that, at least religiously? Culturally, then the argument becomes just because it's a girl child, a boy child, doesn't mean she can't go herd the cattle. Doesn't mean the boy can't be here taking care of the kids. It goes back to gender roles. And I just wanted to say a lot of the gender roles stem from religion and culture. And I'm asking if we should be putting in work there.
What I'm saying is, I think there are spaces where you're defining spaces that I'm not necessarily a part of, even though I'm Christian. So what I'm saying to you is maybe the Christian churches you were a part of before you left Christianity sort of painted that picture. I don't see that picture in the community that
There are
I'm
no
in.
gender roles.
Not that actually, because I'm saying, there are a lot of female leaders in my church. And so there's a different direction that we've gone. But growing up, I can agree, in high school, hardly saw that. It was a lot of male dominance. But now I'm past varsity working, and I definitely see a lot of female leaders. So is it a general community thing? I'm not too sure. Is it the community I'm a part of, the Christian community? There's so many denominations. I don't think that you can make a general statement. But I think there are communities that are very progressive. Even within Christian communities that are very progressive. And so blanket statements with this one is very difficult.
No problem. Thank you. I just want to make a note that I think a lot of our boys, and especially the old men, are really struggling with women empowerment and gender equality. If anything, they're kicking and screaming, in particular where the woman is earning more than them or where they don't earn at all. And we need to have a very aggressive conversation about that, man to man. But also, we need to speak to the women about how they approach men who are earning less and who are maybe not working, because there's a lot of abuse happening there, specifically physical abuse, where the man, the only thing he has over you is his physicality. And he shows it because he's kind of weak everywhere else, or he's not weak, he's less than you. That becomes a problem. And there's a way that women also approach men that is problematic, because they also haven't been trained, in my opinion, well enough to handle a man who earns less. I mean, on social media everywhere, women still expect a man to provide. When we speak about culture, women still expect a man to pay lobolo. It's still expected that the man must propose marriage. And all these little nuances that still put a man at an expected higher level. And women are proving that they are just as capable, but there's some systematic things that are still being held strong by various people. And I think we do need to have some of those conversations for the sake of moving forward and having healthier couples and communities as well. It's just a note.
Do you think men are better than women?
No, I believe men and women are equal. Yeah.
So you would never take out lobola because of that? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not cultural. That's why I wouldn't take out lobola. It's got nothing to do with gender. It's like the church thing for me.
But are there any gender roles that you subscribe to, even though you think men and women are equal?
There are gender roles I'm trying to get out of my system.
Unsubscribe, okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to get out of my system.
I can agree that it is work. It is work.
But I'm doing it self. But I'd like to help other people, because I can tell you now, there are a lot of couples who are struggling silently because it's not for the world. The reason they got divorced, the reason the man beat her up, the reason the woman ended up cheating, they won't say it, but it's this gender struggle, because no one actually workshopped them that times have changed, because she's still expecting him to buy the house. She's still expecting him to do this. He's still expecting her to come and cook the meals. And we're not doing an audit to what you're saying, meritocracy. We're not doing an audit to say, hey, I like you. You look like you have a vagina and breasts. Hey, you look like you have a penis. I like you too. We can make babies. Cool. But now, what else are we doing? What do you eat? I eat takeaways. No, I cook. Do you like cooking? Who cooks? Who washes dishes? Who should? For me and you. And then teach other people that, we are aware of how the world operates, but we sat down and we forget the gender. We put down all the roles as a couple that need to be done. And each person said, I'll take this, I'll take this, I'll take this. I'm good at this, I'm good at this, I'm good at this. Who has more money? You have more money. So you're going to have to maybe carry more, or you're not going to carry more. I make 20,000, you make 60. I say, look, I'll bring my 20 to the family. You say, I'll bring my 20. The 40 is for mine to enjoy. And I'm like, okay, when I start making 100, I'll maybe bring 30, you bring 30, but the rest of my money is mine. But we're having a real open chat to say, how can we work optimally, me and you? And then we do that in society where we go to price, like, guys, on the price stand, come on, she's a chick, bro. She can't. I'm like, trust, please leave her. And we start putting in that work to say, don't look at the sex. Ask about their capability. Because we do this in other things. We sit as a group. We're like, oh, Ursula is a financial advisor. Pen is a construction worker. We're discussing money. This is your field. Because we know you're better at it. So we should be able to do that with so many other things. my brother and I debate this a lot, I think with Utebza as well, because I do fundamentally believe, and I went through a phase where I wanted to bring back men. I was like, we need to bring men back. We've lost men. The feminization agenda is bad. It's destroying our men. And I used to be a modern man, and I'm going back there. And this is not to say that men must be feminized. I don't agree with it. I believe that men must actually be equipped to be the best version of whatever they need to be. And that's if that's being masculine and being strong and having the gun and let him be the best. And if the woman wants to do the cooking and the nurturing, leave her alone. Because now it's not gender, it's what she wants. But now we're saying just because she's a girl, woman, she must. Just because he's a man, no. Let's have a different conversation. Who's better trained to handle the guns? And
I clearly haven't had a chat with you in a long time. I didn't know you felt that way. I always thought you were very much gender roles and...
A lot of people online, a lot of women online believe I'm a misogynist, but that's because they listen to sound bites and they take tweets that trend without context, which is, I guess, the story of the whole world. Like I said about Jesus Christ, you just take bits and pieces like, but Jesus! And I'm like, you didn't read the whole story. So I'm a victim of that. I am not...
Are you saying this has always been your perspective?
I've always respected women. I've always seen women as...
Powerhouses.
It's the reason why I bash women, by the way, when they catch feelings. When women are strong, they want to be celebrated. When they're weak or they're hypocrites or whatever, we're not allowed to criticize them. I don't. I criticize. Then I get called names like misogynist. I'm like, I'm not. It's because you guys are fucking up. But when I say it, because I happen to be a man, he hates women. And I'm like, I respect you so much that I'm criticizing you the same way I'd criticize any other guy. You're a sex worker. This guy must give you money just because you have a vagina. You're a sex worker. Excuse me, what do you mean? Why didn't you lobolo? You're empowered. And they're like, this guy hates women. I'm like, no. I'm actually showing you guys that I think you're capable.
I was always conflicted about the lobola one until a friend of mine explained something else. And I've seen it differently since. And you're looking at me like, here goes a justification.
I'm listening and I'm closing my mouth.
Yeah, I can see. But she said, lobola is not about money. It's not a financial exchange. And she even went on to say, if my husband takes out 20,000 rand for me, I'm fine. She says it's about when I go home and I say, Malome, remember that uncle, the funny one? You know, so she says it's a game where two families, where my family can understand the family I'm marrying into and can understand the individuals and the moving parts. In a way, she says it's a game. It's like playing 30 seconds with the opposite family, but 30 seconds of back then. How else do we do this thing where we're intimately merging families and they're getting to know each other?